A good salary and a good retirement plan are not the same thing. Hey, Linkeshwar, I'm a personal finance coach, and today I'm here with Locum Apps to share with you top 5 financial tips that I have for you to manage your money wisely. Now, before I begin, I would like to take this opportunity to extend my gratitude, love and respect to you on your noble profession. You are the real hero who's serving the country right now. So, the first financial tip that I have for you is to first control your cash flow. So a cash flow simply means the process of money coming in and going out, right? If you're receiving a salary, that means your money is coming in, and if you're spending on your expenses, that means money is going out. And why is it so important for you to control your cash flow? It is because to be able to allocate your funds to your needs and your expenses in a correct manner, right? It's not about how much do you earn at the end of the day, it's about how much do you keep. Okay, and one of the easiest way for you to keep is to have control over your cash flow. And how do you do that? Is by simply having a budget. Now, before you go about to think budget is boring or budget is complex, if you're watching this video, then I have a good news for you. I'm giving you a free budget worksheet. Okay, I've put it out in a very simplest way to put your numbers on that budget worksheet, and that will give you a clarity for you to analyze your finance and for you to reflect your spending habit. Okay, so it all starts with a budget. So I think there is a link somewhere in the video for you to access that free budget worksheet that I personally use, and I also use for my coaching clients, and I'm giving you for free. So all I want you to do is to simply spend 30 minutes a month for the next 3 months. Okay, so once you have done that, you will feel so much different. You will have confidence in your life because you have control over your finance. Now, if you have already have a budget in place, the second tip here is that for you to create an emergency fund. So an emergency fund is basically a reserve fund, a sum of fund which you allocate for an emergency purpose. Okay, so our life has ups and downs. Do you agree? So we want to be prepared when we have downtime in our life, when life throws an unexpected expenses to us. So for example, if I throw a 10,000 expenses to you out of sudden, will you be able to take it? Okay, do you have a buffer? That's the question. So if you do not have an emergency fund, you will not have that buffer to absorb that unexpected expenses. And for those of you who are especially in a contract basis, you should be able to or you should have an emergency fund, because once your contract finish, you have no certainty on your next income. So one of the biggest common mistake that I see is that people do not have an emergency fund. So when things happen, high chances they will fall into or slip into a bad debt. Right? So as I said, if I throw a 10,000 expenses, if you do not have emergency fund, high chances you will borrow money, and that's where you will use your credit card, and that is a trap, a very expensive debt. So that brings me to point number 3, which is to prioritize to pay off your bad debts and your expensive debt. So let me explain to you. There's a 2 type of debt. One is good debt and bad debt. A good debt simply brings money to your pocket. Okay, a bad debt simply takes money out of your pocket. So if you have a bad debt, that should be a priority for you to settle your bad debt. It could be a personal loan, credit card, or your car liability and all that. And one of the most common question that I get is to whether pay off your student loan or not. So I would consider a student loan as a good debt, because that allows you to make a earning right now, right? You borrowed that money to study, and that knowledge is actually a good debt because you have a profession right now. So you would not want to prioritize to settle your good debt, which is your student loan. And that brings me to another topic, which is expensive debt and cheaper debt. So you want to prioritize to pay off your expensive debt. So what do I mean by expensive debt? Is any debts or loans that is cost more than 5% per annum. So that simply means your personal loan and your credit card outstanding. So if you have one of these, that should be your next priority to settle it as soon as possible. So come back to your student loan. Your student loan, I assume from PTPTN on all these institutions, it's not much interest. I believe PTPTN is only about 1%. So if you have a 10,000 cash right now, if I were you, I would not settle my PTPTN. So because if I settle my PTPTN, I'm only saving that 1% interest. But if I invest it, for example, if I invest it in a fixed deposit, which gives me maybe 3%, I'm basically earning 2% from it if compared to I settle my student loan. So that's how you manage your debt wisely. So the message here is to settle your bad debt and your expensive debt. The fourth tip that I have for you is to avoid lifestyle inflation. Have you ever wondered to yourself that the more that you earn, the more that you are spending? Okay, you can't save money at the end of every month, no matter how much do you earn or no matter how much do you try. And lifestyle inflation is actually extremely common for young graduates who's receiving their first paycheck at the beginning of their career, or even professions who's earning a good decent amount of salary. Lifestyle inflation is also like a cancer in our society, which is a silent killer of our wealth. So what do I mean by lifestyle inflation? It simply means committing yourself or spending your money in things that you don't need, to impress people who you don't like or you don't bother, or to fit into the society. As we all know, we are in a materialistic society or in an economic world. So it is very common for us to have a high desire to own luxury things and all that. And I'm not saying it's bad, but you need to work your way or your finances in the correct way to achieve them. Okay, you don't want to put yourself in a bad financial situation. So people who are trapped into a lifestyle inflation will usually have high commitments because they buy things or they commit things that they could barely afford them. So it comes down to affordability, right? So one of the way for you to avoid lifestyle inflation is to simply know what is important to you. Okay, you need to set your priorities right. So that brings me to the last point, or the financial last 5 tips that I'm sharing with you, is to set your financial goals. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the money. Okay, it's about what do you want, what is important to you, what is priority or matters to you. It does not matter if you have 2 million sitting in the bank if you do not know what to do with that money. So one of the questions that you can ask for yourself to identify what is important to you is that ask yourself, what can money do for me? Okay, what makes me happy? That will help you to determine your financial goal. So an example of financial goal could be paying off your debt, or buying that luxury house, or it could be starting a business, or it could be retiring at this age. So if you have a financial goal and if you have clarity, a vision on what do you want to achieve, it will set you up in the right direction and you could prepare. It will save you a lot of time, effort and money, trust me. So if you have a direction, you will know how much emergency fund do you need. Okay, how much do you need to save, how much do you need to invest, what are the risks that you can take, okay, and etc. So that is why it is important for you to have a financial goal. You can't be random about money, right? So I hope that these 5 financial tips was helpful for you to manage your money wisely. And we also have a free gift for you, and I will ask you a question. So if you can answer that question in the comment below, I will pick a few winners, I would say. So the question for me here is, I'm sure most of you are gonna do this locum and gonna earn an extra income. So list me top 3 things that you will do with that extra income, and I will pick the winners. So thank you for watching. Signing off. If you want to see more contents of my financial contents, you can always go to my social media. You can search for my name, Linkeshwar, or you can search for Millennial Money. Thanks for watching. Take care.